Is your computer running slow? Do you feel like somebody's put on the brakes on your computer? You know, it used to be when you first bought your computer, it would boot up really fast and everything would just, happen the minute you clicked on an icon. Well, it's not working that way anymore. You've probably had your computer about 12 months, maybe a little bit longer, and all of a sudden it's come to a crawl. It seems like it's taking forever to get anything done. Well, that's pretty typical for a computer of that age. And the older your computer gets, the worse it will get. Routine maintenance will do wonders for the speed of your computer. However, there are a couple of things that you can do to stop the slowdown of your computer. Item number one is going to be the programs that are running in the background. Every time you boot your computer, it's got a set of programs that it needs to load to run in the background. Examples would be your antivirus software. It runs in the background and it protects your computer. You may not ever see it running, but it's there protecting you. Skype is a big culprit. If you are a Skype user and you've got that set to run in the background every time your computer boots up, it's probably the last piece of software that will load, and it comes with this little whoosh sound when it finally opens. It takes up a lot of system resources, and it doesn't need to be there until you actually want to Skype. I mean, really, how often are you Skyping? Unless you Skype all day long for business, you don't need that running in the background. Adobe products are other programs that will run in the background and take up resources, but you don't need them there. Software updaters are also a good example. It's really simple to edit that list of pieces of software that run in the background and stop them from opening every time your computer boots up. Honestly, most of them don't need to be there at all. Your antivirus, yes. And there may be a few others, but there's not many that need to be there. So now I'm going to show you how to edit those startup items on a Windows 10 computer. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So hold on a minute while I do that. So here we are on my Windows 10 screen. This is a test laptop for me. And I am just going to go right down here to the taskbar. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to left click on Task Manager. In your Task Manager, you'll see all these tabs up at the top. I'm going to click on the Startup tab. This will list all the programs that are scheduled to start up and run in the background every time you boot your computer. You don't need them all. I click on the Status column to sort by the status, and we'll see the ones I have enabled and the ones I have disabled. I can easily right-click on any of these items and choose Disable. Like I said, most of these you don't need. You need to be selective about the ones that you turn on and the ones you turn off. Always leave your antivirus turned on. If you have, like Dashlane is my password manager program, I leave that turned on. Obviously, that's important to me. I always leave my Dropbox turned on, so I'm going to go back and enable that. So you just want to take a look at what you've got running here and make a decision on what is necessary and what's not. And if you don't know, feel free to reach out to me. I can help you with that. The second thing that I would probably look at is software bloat. You know, over time, as computer manufacturers update their software, they're constantly putting in new features and functions that you are not even aware that they're putting in there, and you probably don't even need. Maybe you don't even use these pieces of software. So I can do an analysis on your system and let you know with a conversation that there are certain pieces of software on your computer that can just go away. We can take them off, we can remove them, and we could hopefully speed up your computer. The third thing that you would want to look at in terms of your computer is your actual hard drive. It used to be pretty standard in computers that you would have a SATA drive, and a SATA drive, SATA, has a spinning platter on it, and it's almost like the old record players. You remember those? Vinyl? And it has a needle that has to go back and forth on that platter to find your data whenever you request it to be opened. Now, your data and your programs are stored on your computer in little tiny bit files, and they could be spread out all over that computer's hard drive. So a defrag of the hard drive on a regular basis can group all of those together in one spot on the hard drive and make your computer much faster at retrieving all those little bits of information. However, I would also recommend that instead of using one of those old types of SATA drives, maybe upgrade to an SSD drive. SSD is solid state drive. It's electronic technology. There's no moving parts. So it makes it much faster for you to run your programs and retrieve your data. And I'll give you a good example of my experience, one of my experiences. I've had several with SSD drives. The very first MacBook I ever bought, which was back in 2000, I'm thinking it was 9 or 10, it had just a regular SATA drive in it. And after about 6 months, I was ready to throw that computer out the window. And the reason was it was running so slow. So what I did was I went out and I bought a solid state drive. This is back when they were really spendy. So I bought, I think it was 120 gig solid state drive. I put it in place of the old drive, and I loaded my operating system and my apps on the solid state drive. I took the old drive and put it back in the MacBook in place of the CD drive. I pulled that out, got a special container to put that old drive in, and put it in the MacBook. So all of my data sat on that drive. So at least when I boot up my computer and I was opening my apps and running my apps, the computer ran really fast. It went from a 2-minute boot time down to about a 15-second boot time. And that computer I had in operation until probably about a year ago when I sold it. And it's still being used today. And it's probably 8 years old. So the SSD drive made all the difference in the world. The fourth thing, I'm going to throw this in here, is we can take a look at how much memory is in your computer. And we can always increase the amount of memory. They're just tiny little chips that go inside the computer. We pull out the old chips, pop in the new chips, and you're good to go. It will make all the difference in the world. And of course, a full malware scan just to make sure that's not an issue with the computer. Those are the things I would check if my computer were running slow. So if you need any help in that area, just let me know. My name is Mary Berger, and my company is called ComputerDiva. You can find me at www.computerdiva.biz. Hey, thanks for watching, and have a great day.